Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku long-term analysis for the S&P 500 for the year ending 2011. If we look at the trend in this market, and these are yearly candlesticks, we can see that the market remains in an uptrend for this year. The uptrend began on the previous year and we had two consecutive green-bodied candles. For the end of this year, we had no body to this candle, and we had a doji type candle with the market open and closed within the same region, with a shadow on the top and the shadow on the bottom. That denotes indecision in the market. We know that we've had a fairly volatile and indecisive trading year this year. Looking at the size of the range, it's only slightly larger than the previous year, but certainly smaller than the year before that and the year before that. So not a terribly exciting year in comparison to a few years ago. But we did have a major sell-off when we had that very large red-bodied candle, and then a good strong recovery over the last couple of years. Now there is some doubt whether this market will continue trending up because of this doji type candle, and that's because neither side has made any bullish nor bearish progress this year between the open and the close, so no net progress, and price rejection from the downside and price rejection from the upside. So a great battle going on between the bulls and the bears, and it does signal weakness, the weakness of the bulls, even though they were able to maintain the trend to the upside. Very important to watch the low of this current candle for this year. If it is taken out in a bearish way, then there is a chance that the market will test down to around the Kijun-sen and perhaps even below. The Kijun-sen is trading at 896, and we can see here previously over the last decade or so that the market did test down below that area and found support. And looking at the history here throughout the last probably 30 or 40 or 50 years, the market has found support down around the Kijun-sen when we've had major sell-offs in the market, but also the market was finding short-term support around the Tenkan-sen. So we did see the market find support at the Tenkan-sen for this year's trading as well. So that level around the Kijun-sen around 896 is very, very important. We should expect that if the market does test down around there, that the buyers will come in and buy the market back. Looking at this, the structure of this type of pattern that we have, the market has been trading sideways. We have got a logarithmic chart up, so it is compressing the earlier data or the data at lower levels so that we can see what's been happening in the market over a longer period of time, much easier than if we use an arithmetic scale. And it did look like the market would set up for a double top pattern, but the market failed to close down below that midpoint level around 764. Did test below, but we do require a close down below, therefore completion of the pattern. So there is potential for this to be a triple top pattern. If the market does continue trending up and test up to around the 1563 level roughly, or 1550 level roughly, then there is potential for the market to find resistance up there and sell off. So let's see how the market develops over the next year, and whether we take out the current high and continue the trend to the upside. As we've said, potential support is at the Tenkan-sen, which is trading at 1121, and then at the Kijun-sen. Now, really, the cloud becomes fairly useless looking at such a long-term chart, and that's because with equity markets, we have an upside bias to them because of inflation, and they will always tend to be trending up in big picture terms. And big picture analysis with regard to the cloud is really not quite useful, so we probably do need to concentrate on the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and also the Chikou span. If we look across at the Chikou span, that's obviously above the corresponding price action, but it will tend to be in most years because of that upward bias in equities markets. So basically for the next year, if we do take out the high, let's look to potential resistance up around these previous highs and look for a potential triple top pattern. But certainly watch the area around the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen for potentially very strong support. Well, let's move on now to the quarterly charts, and here we can see the market is in a downtrend. a green body candle, however, but we have a candle that's made a lower high and a lower low. The market is trading up above the cloud, but we saw the market in this final quarter for 2011 find support down at the top of the cloud, and we can see the shadow on the bottom. As the market tested within the cloud, we saw the buyers come back in this final quarter to close the market back up towards the highs. So this has set the market up for a potential change of trend to the upside, and we can see the way that this candle is developing at the moment, that it is testing higher than the previous close, and there is strong potential to test that high and potentially change the trend to the upside. Quite a large green-bodied candle, denoting that the buyers have made very solid net and bullish progress, as opposed to the solid red-bodied candle where the bears were in control. And in this candle for this final quarter, the buyers have taken control and they've shown some good strong commitment to taking this market higher. So because we're trading up above the cloud, the market has an overall positive bias, and we're also trading up above the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, so the market is bullish in the medium term and fast term time frames. Looking at the Chikou span here, that's trading just at the price action, so it's not really confirming the bullishness that we're seeing in the market. If anything, it is just trading up above the previous close, so not a very solid confirmation of this overall bullishness. If this market does change trend and trend up, then we do have resistance up around the 1368 level at this major swing high, so that will offer itself as very strong resistance. Next resistance would be up around this major high around 1573, which was one of those highs in that double top type pattern that hadn't been completed. So if we do test up around there, there is potential for that to be a triple top pattern, but certainly not confirmed until we see a breakout down below one of these lows, although these intermediate troughs, this second one is really quite a bit smaller than lower than the previous, so it's not a classical triple top pattern if it does, but we can see that type of pattern better in the yearly charts. Just looking at potential support for this market, once again, we do have potential support at the Tenkan-sen at 1190, and then at the top of the cloud, which coincides with the Kijun-sen at 1121, all the way through down to the bottom of the cloud, which is roughly at the 1000 round number. So that 1000 level becomes very, very important for the next year, and will hold as very, very strong support. Now, as we mentioned in long-term charts, the cloud is not too relevant because of the long-term upward bias in equities markets, but over the previous few years we did see this market test down below the cloud. So if we do see a strong sell-off, there is potential for this market to trade down below the cloud, but as we can see, the market doesn't spend a lot of time down below there. We closed down below there for one quarter, maintained down below there for another quarter, and then closed up within the cloud for the next few quarters and then above. So not a very strong indication of overall strength of the market in very long-term time frame. So obviously for the next quarter ahead, let's watch the high of the current candle and look for a potential test up to around the 1368 level and a potential change of trend to the upside, coinciding with this bullishness that we're seeing in the short-term time frame with this green-bodied candle. Next, moving to the monthly charts, and disregarding that final candle on the chart, that's the beginning of January. If we look to the previous candle here, it's a small green body candle, a very small range to this candle, and we can see for the previous couple of months that the range has been decreasing, denoting that neither the bulls nor the bears are really eager to push the market in either direction to the upside nor the downside. We actually have two inside bars in bar chart terms, and they denote indecision. Basically the trend is still down. If we look at the candle here, the red candle that found support down at the cloud, the trend was down there. We had a candle with a lower high and a lower low, although that was an inside bar. The previous had a lower high and a lower low. Then we had an outside bar which didn't change the trend, but technically with the market closing up towards the highs and maintaining its bias up towards those the highs, we did have a bullish market and a large green body that denoted the buyers being in control of this market. The next two candles, we had an inside bar and then another inside bar, so a lot of indecision, and the buyers weren't strong enough to take out the high of that outside bar type candle that tested up to around almost to the 1300 level. Looking at how the market's trading at the moment, just for the start of January, we have actually taken out the high of the previous candle, and we do have an uptrend that's attempting to form, so that could be quite significant for the next few months ahead. That if this bullishness is maintained in this market over the next month, we could see the market trading to higher levels and testing above 1300, perhaps up to this swing high around the roughly 1370 area. We do have very solid support down below, and we can see where the market tested on 3 occasions within the cloud, and that will offer itself as very, very strong support, and that extends from roughly 1120 down to about 1020, so very, very strong support below if the market does sell off. The market, in terms of the indicators, is bullish in all 3 time frames by trading above the cloud, above the Kijun Sen, and above the Tenkan Sen. So a bullish market in the long, medium and fast term time frames. Looking at the ticker span, that's above the corresponding price action, so that's confirming the bullishness, but it is trading within the cloud, so some Ichimoku practitioners would regard that to be not confirming the bullishness that we're seeing, but I place more importance on the ticker span being above the corresponding price action, so confirmation of some good bullishness in this market at the moment. So obviously for the next month's trading, we have taken out the previous high. Let's watch this high of this significant large green bodied candle. That will be very important. It's at around 1290, and certainly the round number 1300 will be important. If we see a bullish close and bullish activity up above there, then there is a good chance that the market will test up to around the major swing high, roughly around 1370.